Hey there, so I'm just adding in the beef belly bacon, right? Because I don't use pork. So we're just gonna add in the beef belly bacon in there. And then my heat is on low. I've added a little bit of olive oil to just give it a bit of grease so that the process starts. And then we're gonna render all of the fats out until it gets nice and crispy. So while this is getting set up, right, as you can see that we got some clams over here and I have an empty bowl, right? So on the empty bowl, what I'm going to do is add 1 cup of onions, right? There you go, 1 cup of onion added. So that's like about one whole onion, right? 1 onion cut in there. And to the onions, we're gonna add a handful of garlic, so nicely sliced and diced. So because we don't want big chunks of garlic in our mouth, right? So we're just gonna add it there, and everything is just gonna go in there. It's gonna saute, so don't worry about much. And if you can see that a lot of fat has been already rendering out, right? And next thing we're gonna go in is with celeries, right? So we got some celeries over here. Again, we don't want big chunks of celery, right? And so cut them small, right? So that they just melt, and we just add the celeries in. There you go. And once this mixture is done, you just give it a mix, put it aside, and wait for this to render out. So my suggestion is while this is rendering, you can also prepare this, and that's totally fine, right? So you have time, this renders, the fat is out, this is ready, and Bob's your uncle, right? So we'll catch you after that. All right, my fellow viewers, so you can see a lot of fat came out from the rendering of all of that, right? So, and on the other side, just to show you, I have the clam stock that's running, yep. So the clam stock over there is going on. I've added in a bit of the onions and celery, garlic, and a bit of bay leaf with a lot of clams in there, right? So let that work, and then after that, once it's ready, we will put in these veggies in there. Yep, and we will discard some of this and maybe remove a bit of the excess fat that's in there. We don't want it to be fatty when we put it in our mouth. Okay, so all the crispy bits, as you can see, is beautiful, right? So, and they're popping and crackling. So we're just gonna take them out, and then after that we're going to take a bit of the oil out because there's a lot of oil, and then we'll catch you after that, right? There. And that will be the last of the crispy crispies, right? You can see crackling crispy. Just gonna put them one side, right? And to the oil, what we're going to do is add all of these beautiful, amazing veggies, right? So in soup language, we call it a roux, and that's what we're going to be making now. Roux is basically the soul of the soup, and if your roux is no good, then your soup is no good. So we're just going to slowly, on very low heat, saute them and make sure the onions do not get brown as much as possible, which is quite impossible, right? So I did a double negative there, yeah. So we're just gonna let it sweat it out a bit, and then after that we're gonna add in some of secret things. And if you look on that side, right, my stock is bubbling amazingly. Oh, look at the beautiful stock, and we're just gonna add them in later. Right? Oh yeah, look at them, nicely sauteed and very soft and just about to go brown. My heat is still low. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add half a cup of flour, right? So just dump them in. And what's this going to do is it's going to help the soup to get thickened later on, right? And for the flour, you might want to increase the heat a bit, right? And just let it mix with all of the veggies. And in this way, what happens is make sure that your flour doesn't get clumpy at the end, right? You don't get clumps of flour in your mouth. That just tastes horrible. So, you see? All the veggies are soaking up all the flour, and mix it well. All right, there you go. And what you have is a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, pretty. What other adjectives can I use? Roux. All right. So I'm just gonna let it cook a minute, and then after that we're gonna add in the stock. And once the stock is in, you know, Bob's your uncle. How many times have I said that? Quite a few. The roux smells amazing. It's almost like bechamel. If I were to add butter now, it will become an amazing bechamel itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the stock and ladle a bit of it in, right? So just pour a bit of it in, and then I'm just going to increase the heat so that it doesn't get all jelly in there, right? And then quickly give it a nice mix to lose all of those flour. And you can see that there is a bit of gel going on, so add more stock, right? There we go. And you keep mixing it, all right? There you go. And don't let it sit. That's the trick. A lot of you message that your clam stocks are getting very gelatin-like. The reason is because you let it sit when it's boiling. So the moment you mix it well, it's not going to become jelly. Yep. So I'm just going to leave it on low heat. As you can see, it's not setting anymore, right? The bottom is not setting anymore. And I'm just going to leave it a bit on low heat for it to mix well with. And then after that, we're going to add in the clams and everything. So the roux has been cooking about 5 minutes on very low heat, and I've added the rest of the stock inside, right? And as you can see, you know, it's perfectly thin, nicely mixed. And what we're going to do next is going to add in some store-bought clam. So I have some fresh clams over here, but then it's not enough for this whole pot to be filled, right? And nowadays the situation is that you get whatever you get because of COVID and all that. So if you have frozen clams, those are also fine. So just get those and put them in. Yep. So we'll do that and we'll catch you after that. Frozen clams just added in, and now we're going to go in with the fresh ones, the alive ones. So if there's any vegan or vegetarian, look away. I don't know, would you even click on the video? If you did, well, just maybe look away, and while I put these clams into scalding, boiling soup water. Okay then, bye. So the soup has been cooking with the amazing live clams that has slowly started to open up, if you can see, right? And once they have opened up, what we will do is we're going to add the potatoes, right? Or you can just add them right now, it doesn't make a difference. So in my case, I would just add the potatoes in there, right? So nicely diced potatoes, and we'll let them get soft, and so that you can enjoy every spoonful with a bit of potatoes in there, right? There you go. It's a pretty full pot, and then we'll add in the cream and milk. That's when it will get its soupy bottom, right? So now the season is cold. December is coming, January is coming. I think in Singapore it's raining. In Bangladesh itself, it's cold in parts of New York, and then America, Europe and all that. The ice should be setting in by now. And I think this will be the best dish for you to just taste and sit on the porch or maybe on the balcony, or look out the window while having a spoonful of it in the morning or at night, however you like it. So I'll let it come up to a boil, and once it's up to a boil, right, a light slight boil, not a roaring boil, we'll add in the milk and the heavy cream. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see that it has started boiling, and you can see the clams have opened up beautifully, all of them. And if, let's say, some of the clams are not open, later on just discard them, because those suckers are dead inside, yeah? So what I'm going to do is we're going to just pop the lid of my heavy cream, and we're just going to add it in. Right, there you go. And I will add in another once I see the taste. If it needs another, we will add another, right? And you can see that the color changes to beautiful white. Next, what we're going to do is that we're going to just add a bit of thyme in there, right? So some fresh thyme. we got, and because of the season, we could have had thyme, we could have dill, but you know, go in with the fresh thyme, right? And last but not least, sprinkle a bit of the what's it called, beef belly or beef bacon strips, and we're gonna lid it up, because what I want to show you is what's happening on the other side of the, well, whatever you call it, the stove or the grill, is some amazing garlic, well, what do we call it, garlic bread with olive oil, thyme, garlic, and some amazingness. And we'll just turn them over. All right, get them nice and toasty. Ooh, crackling from the thyme. And we will dip them into the chowder as we eat. All right. So I got my big boy ladle over here, and then just going to take the soup. All right, and we're just going to ladle that in. Oh, and you better get a big ass bowl, right? Because clam chowder, you don't sip a little and then like tea, you know, lift your pinky and all that. No rubbish like that, right? So put the clams in one by one. There you go. Clam chowder without clam is rubbish. Yeah. So a bit more. I'll put in a bit more. There. Perfect. And just to make it a bit fancy, you know, you can probably plate 1 or 2 clams on top. Right. Just to make it a bit fancy. There you go. Perfect. And last but not least, take a bit of parsley, right? And sprinkle on top for a bit of freshness. And on top of the garlic bread, you're pretty much done. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do like, comment, and subscribe. And if you make it at home, do let me know how it tastes, right? And then we'll catch you on the next video. Thank you.